Welcome to the Awakened Goddess Show, your source for inspiration, wisdom, and personal discovery. The place to learn from a diverse mix of mentors, metaphysical experts, spiritual leaders, and best-selling authors from around the world. I'm your host, Angela Wilkinson. Join me as I explore the minds of my masterful guests while they share powerful insights and easy-to-use tools you can start using right away. Now, let's tap into the energy of the Awakened Goddess and be enlightened by today's guest. Aideen Hathaway is the founder and creator of Dances with Dragons Vibrational Essences and lives in Limerick, Ireland. Aideen works with the dragon realm energy and holds a strong dragon frequency in her own being. She also has over 15 years of training in various healing modalities, including Usui Reiki, vortex healing, and intuitive energy healing. She's now offering healing sessions with the dragons. Aideen uses her mystic abilities to co-create her essences with the dragons and elementals of the land, connecting on a very deep and pristine energetic level with these beings in order to bring the highest frequency possible to the DWD range. Now let's welcome Aideen to the show. Hi, I'm Angela Wilkinson, and welcome to this episode of the Awakened Goddess Show, where we co-create powerful, conscious conversations on the leading edge. Today I have Aideen joining me, and we're going to be talking about vibrational essences and working with the elementals and dragon energy. So, welcome, Aideen.
Thank you so much for having me, Angela. It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
So, I'm really excited. I've been so looking forward to our conversation today because you work with the dragons, and honestly, I have no concept of dragon energy other than what I see in movies, which sounds like kind of silly when I think about it, but I imagine that most people probably have that same vantage point. So I'm looking forward to this conversation because I'm sure that they have a lot to offer, and that you're going to help dispel many myths about them.
Well, I will try. Yes, definitely. I think that they have a certain representation in films. The Game of Thrones kind of dragon, or the Hobbit dragon, are the two most sort of famous ones that leap to mind at the moment. But yes, to me, that is not really a dragon energy. It represents certain aspects of their power or their frequency. But I would think, and this is not just, this is not sort of exclusive to those authors, going back centuries, we have the knights slaying the dragon, and they haven't had a good rap in human fiction or history or anything like that.
Yeah.
So and as a child, I found that it really bothered me, that I could not find any representation anywhere of dragons as I knew them, because even when I was very small, I used to communicate with them as an energy, and I was just, always loved them. And it felt so odd to me that the only, representations I could find were of the knights killing the dragon, or even that phrase, go slay a dragon. Well, it's kind of rude,
Yeah.
Not to mention fairly impossible.
Yeah. Or there was like the virgin that was tied to the stake,
right,
that there was the fire-breathing dragon that was just gonna torch her up.
Yeah, and I think we can kind of guess who wrote those stories. It wasn't the women that, I don't think the women really tied to things like meant to come and get them. So, but yes, you're absolutely right. A lot of times when people come to me first, it's with a certain preconception of dragons. And what I always ask is just come to work with me with an open mind about what a dragon and what dragon energy is, And I think that many people are very surprised, actually, you know. Um, it
So,
to me,
so yeah, so let me interrupt you just for a second, because you said you always communicated with them.
yeah,
I mean, did they just show up one day, or I mean, that's
they've always been there. As long as as far back as I can remember, they were there. But you know, it's not a very normal thing. So it's not something that I talked about much
mm,
as a child or anything.
okay.
Um, and
Because you're
I,
where are you originally from?
I'm from Ireland. I grew up
Okay.
here, you know, a lovely family, but not dragon people,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah, because I'm just
Um,
kind of setting the stage because I know that different regions have different energies that they work with. And
mhm.
so, here in the US, even though I'm out sometimes in the country, yeah, we don't come across dragons, like the idea of dragons, a lot. So I'm wondering if in Ireland is there a lot more conversation around dragons, or
I think there's a lot more conversation, and there has been, about the elementals. Here in Ireland, the land is still very active in that way. And even though people, um, you know, I mean, it's not like Darby O'Gill and the Little People, you know, which I don't think any Irish person has ever watched and said, oh, that's us. Um, you know,
yeah, it's kind of
no,
like they have a
yeah,
show called Portlandia, and I live close to Portland, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're
yeah, it's a
what?
big epic. Um, but there, you know, we have cards and our iPads and our MacBooks and all the rest of it. But
Yeah.
there is there is a connection with the land here still for a lot of people, and especially out where I am now, which is it's not that far from the city, but it's in the country. It's farming land, and there is still a reverence and a communication with the land and with the elementals that I did not experience much in my time in the States. You know, I was there for 15 years, and I found it because you know, sought it out. Now, granted, I was in pretty urban areas, but to me, there was not that same energy around the land. So yeah, so the elementals here, you know, the fairies, or the she, have a very strong presence, especially in certain spots. And generally, where you will find that kind of elemental energy, you will find the dragon energy. They don't always make themselves known. You know, they're not really interested necessarily in hanging out with people. You know, just
I
for
can see
you know,
why.
yeah. And it's just about being discerning. You know,
Mhm.
if you come with respect, they will give you that. You know, if they feel in the mood. um, but you know, I have had one or two people saying, well, how can I get them to do this, or how can I make them do that? And personally, I find that a very interesting insight into how that particular being operates in their life anyway. Because to me, you know, I would no more expect that an elemental would do what I want than I would another person, you know. So I generally set that pretty straight fairly fast.
Yeah.
But to get back to your question, yeah, the there to me here in Ireland there is a strong dragon frequency that's getting stronger, and because they are making themselves more known and more present for everyone, you know.
Mhm.
It's sort of no coincidence in some ways. I know I was laughing about Game of Thrones, but the dragons play a big part in that, and people, you know, are intrigued by them. And there is that element that people are becoming more aware of them now. Even I was talking with a friend the other day, like I was saying, when I was a child, there was no books that I could find that showed dragons the way I, felt them, shall we say.
Hmm.
And she was looking for some books for her daughter. And I was able to recommend some that we had found when my son was small, uh, children's books with dragons. And they are, wonderful, shining little beings of dragons. And they're not,
Oh.
nasty. And there's Digby Dragon, the TV show and stuff. So it's shifting in the collective a little bit, the perception. It feels a little bit to me like what happened with angels, um,
Mm.
about, I don't know, it maybe 15, 20 years ago, when suddenly it was angels everything, um, and that happens for a reason. People are opening up to that energy. Otherwise, there wouldn't be the sudden, oh yeah, I've heard of Archangel Michael or whatever. So I can see that happening with the dragon energy, because they are coming in. They are coming to support us if we want their support and ask
Hmm.
for that. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, just going back for a second, when you were talking about the books, it all of a sudden made me remember Puff the Magic Dragon.
Yes.
And I love that song.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was probably the one song of a fairly, and the Never-Ending Story. There was the
Oh,
Never-Ending Story.
yes. Yes,
Yes.
I
So,
love that.
there were a few. There were a few. It's not fair of me to say that all the dragons were Smaug like guarding their hoard. Um,
So, just for clarification, are dragons part of the elementals or are they separate?
they are separate. They
Okay.
are separate in the way that the angels are separate.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, I think our minds love to have, or need to have, a certain, labels, or lines between things. It's more fluid, I feel, in a lot of ways. But yes, I feel that the elementals, like the she or the stone elementals, those kind of elementals, are a different energy. They're a different frequency to the dragons. The dragons are actually a lot more galactic in nature.
Oh,
They
interesting.
move, yeah, they move much more often between dimensions, and they are more comfortable in a galactic kind of realm, which
Hmm.
is interesting because here they are so often associated with the earth. The
Hmm.
ley lines are often called dragon lines. There are very few sacred sites, certainly around here and in the UK, that don't have a dragon energy. Dragons were always associated with, underground treasure, or, and they do have that very, um, earthing kind of quality. That it really is why they're coming in right now, is to help us earth or ground. I don't like really using the word ground because it has so many
How about
older
anchor?
connotations. Yeah, anchor, bring in, embody that magic that of the new cycle. So it's a very interesting, kind of cool juxtaposition for me to watch them be so interdimensional and stellar, and yet be so associated with, and actually bring in that energy of earthing, you know.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, I could see how that would be so so great to experience from your perspective, since that you have worked with them for so long. Now, when did it shift where you realized that you were going to work with them, for the work that you do?
Yeah.
Like, how did that shift? Like, how did that
Mm.
come about?
That was actually a pretty gradual thing, because I had done energy healing for a long time, but part time. And then I had given that up for a few reasons. And
Well, you
I
said you
really
went to the States and that there was a big shift energetically there, it sounds
There
like.
was a big shift, and I did have a healing practice there for a while, in New York actually, which was interesting. Um,
It's amazing what
yeah,
there's
yeah,
actually a large spiritual community in New York.
there
You just
is,
have to know where to
there is.
find
You just
them.
have to sort of, find that niche, and it's there. I mean, there's everything in New York. There's everything in
Yes.
New York, and I loved my time there. It was wonderful, but um, at a certain point, it didn't become viable just because of the rent and everything. It became impossible. So I gave that up, and I thought that was that. And I had never sort of said to people, when you're coming for a healing with me, you're working with dragons, because it freaked people out a few
Hmm.
times. It's quite a distinctive energy, and so I would never really say it. I'd say, my guides, you know, my guides said.
Yes.
Or I work with a specific team. Um, so I did hedge it a bit. I did, at that time I did. I wasn't ready to say I'm the dragon lady. And so it's been fun actually to kind of step into that. But what actually brought it about in a lot of ways was the vibrational essences,
Mm.
because I did a diploma with Sarah Turner, of the moonflower essences and essentially flowers, and she's just wonderful. And I did that diploma just for me. It was just for myself. I said I've always loved using essences. I'd like to know a bit more about them, and I'm going to do this. It was a year-long course, and I felt like I had sort of disconnected a bit from that part of myself, and I thought
Sure.
this is going to be a way to make sure that I'm doing it, getting back to that, or moving in a different way with that. So I did that course, and I ended up, co-creating some essences. When I was here home one summer, they ended up becoming the sacred sites ones, actually, the sacred
Mm-hmm.
sites section. And it sort of went from there. Once we came back here, when I came back here, I thought, um, because I had established Dances with Dragons before we came back, but really it was once we came back, with all the energetic support here, it just took off. I mean, it really did. It was just
Nice.
like, oh my gosh, all these essences are coming through, and I'm having so much fun working with the elementals, and with I mean, I have some flower essences, which are really not as popular as the other ones, but they are lovely.
They're so lovely. Yes.
I feel a little bad about those ones, but they are, and that was the sort of first step in a way, because it was something tangible for me to embrace and work with, and get comfortable with saying I work with dragons. And it went from there. I have, started doing the dragon healings. I've got some dragon meditations that I am working on, and I'm going to do a course. It's all just sort of coming together, and so
Yeah.
fluidly and so easily. Once I said, yes, I'm the dragon lady, bring it on. you know.
Well, and
Uh,
I love that you say that, because I think that there are many people that watch and listen to the show that maybe are at that place where they are creating or birthing something new, right? And
yes.
it's like, ooh, I don't know that I'm ready to claim it or really put it out there, because it might be what they consider to be on the fringe, or it's just outside
Right.
of their what they're used to or comfortable with. So I love that you say that.
Yeah, it really, and anyone that's listening that's doing that, please, please get your passion, your magic out there, because, you know, 20 years ago, Reiki was weird,
I
you know?
know.
I mean, now it's like every second person's like, oh, I had a Reiki session. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, really,
Yeah.
think about it that way. So, and there had to be one person who stood up and said, would anyone like a Reiki session today? And someone who said, yes, me. I don't know what it is, but I'll do it. And those two people together made some sort of alchemy, that that set something in flow. And to me, that is what I am, participating in. It's not just, it's not me, I'm just saying yes to creations and energy and magic that wants to come through. And everyone can do that. I mean, everyone has that in them. That's what I love about what I do, is that seeing that spark light up in people, or have someone come and say, I didn't think this was possible, and now I feel like it is, because it's having the feeling. I mean, yes, you have to take the actions. I mean, it's not going to fall out of the sky and I mean, if it does, please let me know, because I'd love to know how you manifest that. But
Yeah.
you have to take the steps. You have to get out there and say, this is what I'm doing, and make the mistakes, and don't be afraid to make the mistakes. Don't be afraid to say something silly, or have put out a product that you really love, and then nothing happens, and you're like, oh, well, maybe
It
that
happens to all of us.
it happens to everybody. Maybe that product was just for you. Maybe people aren't ready for it yet. Maybe it needs to be tweaked. Whatever, you put it out there, and by putting it out there, you're saying yes. And what I mean, that to me is so magical, just bringing that frequency in. And that, I really genuinely believe, that is what the dragons are coming in to support. Is, I mean, we're in so much chaos right now, as the human collective. I mean, it's just everywhere you look, you could really start thinking, wow, why are we here? Like, this is a mess. But at the same time, as all of this is going on, or crumbling, or changing and shifting, there are these people, like you, who are getting this magical message out there. And that, I believe, is what the dragons are here, is to help us earth that, to help us during the times when we're tired, or a bill has to be paid, or we've really tried with this product and it didn't work, and we just are feeling a little crushed, And those are the moments, as well as the saying yes and getting that really firm shove behind the shoulder blades that you will get if you work with dragons. It's that moment of picking you up and setting you back on your feet again, and saying, it's dragon feet time. Dragon feet, as well as dragon wings, are very important. The earthing as well as the taking flight. It has to be a balance,
Oh, I love that.
I don't know where that came from,
but well, write that down. Put it on your website somewhere, because I love it. Yeah. So let's take a quick break, and then I want to get into the vibrational essences. How about that?
Okay.
Are you an Awakened Goddess Show insider? Each and every month, our members receive lots of fantastic perks, including behind-the-scenes conversations from the show, outrageously fun virtual happy hours, bonus meditations, powerful activations, and healing energy work with the guests, exclusive gifts and private readings, on-demand access to the show, plus an invite to join our private community. Visit our website today at theawakenedgoddess.com for more information. Now back to the show. Okay, so you create these vibrational essences. You actually sent me some, which I was really excited to get. So I would love to hear, for those people that have never heard of what a vibrational essence is, can you explain these, how they work, how you create them, and yeah.
Absolutely.
All the good stuff.
Vibrational essences are they're an energetic tool, just like Reiki or homeopathy. They're there to support you. They're not magic potions, but they are wonderfully effective energetic tools. And the most famous of them is the Bach flower essences. Those were the original ones. There's many beautiful lines in the US. There's the Alaskan essences, and there's the Spirit in Nature, which I believe is the oldest essence range in the US. And they are all on a similar principle, which is that water holds energetic frequencies, and it holds the memory of those frequencies. So the sort of traditional way of making a flower essence, which would be the original one, say, is that the practitioner would put cut flowers in a bowl of water, spring water, and that would sit in the sun for 3 or 4 hours, and the water would absorb the frequency of the flowers, and then that would you drain off the flowers and put the water with a preservative, which is usually alcohol. It's really the best one. I mean, some practitioners can use vinegar and stuff, but it has to be with some brandy. So that was the sort of traditional way of doing it, and those bottles then held. So they would then make, dosage bottles from that, what they call the mother tincture, and they hold the frequency and the gift of that flower being or tree being. Now, since then, there've been many different essences. I generally do not make it with cut flowers. Also, I can't abide by the 3 to 4 hour full sunshine, because that doesn't happen very often in Ireland. So we can go with daylight. We'll go with daylight. It's not full sunshine is lovely, but not necessarily happening. And so different practitioners have different methods, but it's a very sacred process. It's not like you go out with your bowl of water, you fire some buttercups in there, and you say, "I made an essence." It's a sacred process, working with the plant or the place. Like the sacred sites essences are considered environmental essences because you're working with a place. So you connect with the deva of the plant, or with the plant itself, or with the energies of the place, or in the case of the elementals essences that I have, it was connecting with the elementals that wanted to make the essence. And then now speaking personally, because it is a very personal thing for each co-creator of these essences, I connect, I ask if they want to do this, if this would be something. And sometimes I'm just told, go to this place and bring your stuff, bring your backpack, bring your towel. I always have a towel, because I learned the hard way that, again, Ireland is very wet, and you have to sit, you're sitting for a while. So after the first two, I was like, okay, this is really not comfortable. It's very damp behind. I'm going to bring a towel. So I always have my handy backpack with my towel and stuff in there. And so you just sit quietly and comfortably, and you connect with the energy of the flower or the space or the elemental. And you ask that they give whatever gift it is that they would like to offer to the human collective, to the beings who would benefit from this essence. And it's almost like a meditation, really. I often receive the qualities of the essence in that time. Like, I will actually experience what the qualities of the essences will be. So I write those down at the time. And then, it's a process afterwards. Essences, I have created essences that will never be public. They're just for me at that time, or for my family, or whatever. Or they're just not appropriate to be released. But it is a sacred act, it really is. And there's so many gorgeous, supportive vibrational essences out there, so many different ranges, and if you don't resonate with one, I would just say to anyone watching, if you don't resonate with one particular range, try a different one, try something else, because I know myself that there are some lovely ranges out there that I would actually recommend to people. I could happily recommend them to clients, whatever, but they don't resonate with me personally. They don't vibrate with my frequency in a way that other ranges might, so it really
how would someone know that? Like, what would they experience if something
is working, or they're drawn to? I always say, if you can, look at the pictures. Now, I'm a very visual person, so for me, it's look at the pictures of the images of the essence. and see which ones call you in. And there will always be one. There'll be one picture that jumps out at you, even if it's a flower that you wouldn't normally be drawn to. You know, say you don't like yellow flowers usually, or you're not a big fan of pink, you know, whatever. There may be one that jumps out at you that's just, and when you go to that picture and click on the description, you would be amazed that it'll be just what you've been feeling, just what you need. You know, it really is great. I mean, most websites will have a search thing that you could type in if you're feeling a bit depressed, a bit down, if you want to have a bit of support for abundance, if you're feeling, you know, that you need some help with boundaries, you can type in those keywords too. But to me, there's nothing quite like connecting with the picture, you know. And I think that's such a visceral response for many people. And if you were lucky enough to be able to be in a shop or something where they have essences and you can actually pick up the bottles, that's even better, because you'll know straight away, oh yeah, this is the one for me, or oh no, back on the shelf with you. You know, you just will know. I mean, I've seen people who would say that they have no energetic intuition whatsoever. They haven't a clue. They're, you know, and I would still say, hold one of these two, hold this bottle, hold that bottle, which one feels better? And they will always have one that feels better, you know?
Yeah.
Because the body knows, the physical body knows. So that's how the vibrational essences work, is the water holds the frequency of the signature of the flower, or the wherever. And you usually would ingest it, but you can apply them externally. If you don't want to take them as drops, you could put them in a lotion and rub them on, and or spray them around. The physical body then actually it brings in that frequency. It adjusts to that frequency. You know, it's amazing. It's amazing how our bodies work. Really, like if you look at them, they're so brilliant. You know, we give them such a hard time, but they really are just, you know, we do. Like,
yeah, we do.
But,
okay, so then how, okay, so how do we, what's like the protocol? How do we use them? Like, do we just use it one time and we'll feel it? Or is it something you use over time, like consistently?
It usually needs to be used consistently. I mean, I say to people, you know, you don't go to one yoga class and say, I know how to do yoga, you know. It takes, so you know, using it consistently, probably for a period of a couple of weeks initially, and then after that you might just dip in and out, because you know you'll have got to a certain frequency with it, and you might just need a little bringing back in balance, or you may never really want that one again. But generally, if you've been attracted enough to bring it into your home, you will use it. And I always say to people, start off with 1 or 2 drops, you know, because some people are very sensitive to energy, or they may be totally fine with one essence, and you know, find another one brings up too much, you know, for them. I had a very interesting experience myself, because I always say this to people. I say to clients, whatever, don't, you know, 1 or 2 drops, try that for a week, and you know. And I did not follow my own advice. I got a particular essence. I was like, oh, I love this essence, and I put, you know, 4 or 5 drops in my water. I was like, oh, that's brilliant. I love it. Oh, I should put some on my third eye. I'll put some on my heart chakra. And you know, I've only done this once, because I just fried myself. It was just, you know, when you have one of those sessions, a healing session or something, and the next day you're just really tired, everything's up, you know, and you know it's all just releasing and everything's going to be grand. But I was like, you know, I could have done this a much easier way. You know, over the course of a couple of weeks, it would have been a lot easier than like, oh, let's dredge it all up for right now. So that's a story that I share with people who might get a little over enthusiastic sometimes. I just say, you know, and I had a lovely lady call me the other day. She had bought a bottle of Manifest actually from me, And I had sent it out to her, and she called me 3 days later, and she said, I'm finished the bottle. And I said, oh my God, how are
Oh,
you
goodness.
finished the bottle in 3 days? And she said, oh, well, I just was, so she was actually using she hadn't read the instructions, and clearly she hadn't really listened to what we were talking about, but she was using whole dropperfuls of the
Oh, I was gonna say, did
essence.
she take a bath in it?
I don't know. She was just using a lot of it for 3 days. So she felt great, which was brilliant. But I would not recommend that as a method. Usually I'd say 1 or 2 drops. But
Wow.
she got
So what
another
was
bottle. It was fine.
what was the one that you were using that you just like that brought up all the stuff? I'm curious.
That actually was periwinkle. That was a
Ah,
periwinkle that I used. It wasn't the periwinkle that I have. It was the wild medicine periwinkle, which is made in Glastonbury. Um, a gorgeous range as well of
mm,
flowers around Glastonbury and Avalon. So yeah, I mean,
neat.
it's still one of my favorite essences, and I love my own one as well. Um, Periwinkle to me has a very star-based feel. I think it's really supportive for any star streaming beings out there.
Very cool. Now
Mm.
you create one with the dragons, or actually you have a few that you created with the
The
dragons.
few with the dragon specifically. Um,
So how
I'm
the
sort
heck
of
did you
yeah. So
create
that was
that?
So that was fun. It's very similar to working with the elementals. Sorry, I'm getting croaky here. Um, I mean, as I say, any of the sacred sites ones that I have also have dragon energy. And because I have such a strong dragon energy myself and work with them so much, there is a dragon frequency almost in all of the essences.
Mm,
But these ones are specifically the dragons. So that was a slightly different process in that I did use some crystals sometimes because I love crystals as well.
me too.
Like I
I love
do,
them.
I do. Um, my husband says, "Do you really need another crystal?" I'm like, yes, yes. This is
I
obviously I need
know.
another crystal. It's totally different to the last one. Um, so it's a very similar process though of sitting down in a I and there's some I'm very lucky that there's some really pristine energetic spaces around here that I can go to and be in, and they just add to the sort of sacredness of it. So it's a question I just ask the dragons. For instance, the dragon gold one. I don't know if I sent you that one, but
No, you sent me the dragon power.
Dragon Power. Oh
Dragon
yeah.
power.
So
Yeah.
that was another lovely one as well. So it's
Hmm.
it's just sitting down with the water and actually holding a space for the energy to come through. With the Dragon Gold, I was really having just I had sort of a was at that low point like we were talking about earlier about I've been trying so hard and it's happening, but it's not happening enough. And what am I doing? And all
Right.
the doubts that can come up.
Yeah.
And
The moment when every entrepreneur says, "Oh my God, should I just give this up and then go get a job?"
so exactly, it's like maybe the 9 to 5 is not so bad. Or so I said to the dragons, I was like, okay, you know what? You say this is what like, I mean, I know this is what I want to do. I know how much joy this brings me, but I need some financial support. I need
Mhm.
the abundance in that direction to shift for me. And so I sat with them in the rain, actually, and and this amazing energy came through. It was just this energy of light and freedom and just feeling supported. I mean,
Mm,
that is, the words are so inadequate for
right.
the experience. It was just incredible. And that was the frequency that became Dragon Gold. And it has, it really has supported a lot of people in bringing in some financial support through doing what they love, you know, or helping them notice where are they out of balance in their lives that they could, um, you know, be bringing more joy in. I have a lovely friend who swears it got her back exercising that wasn't sort of on the label. Okay.
The side
Um,
effect.
right. So that was really one that came, you know, from my need, and that was their answer. Um, some of the others then have been what they want to bring in, like the Dragon Dream one, which is a quieter essence, and Dragon Power, which again is really just about stepping into your magic, being that, you know, taking that like really into yourself and putting it out there. That was one that they very much wanted to bring through. So
Nice.
sometimes it's just like I'm out walking and I get the inspiration, and then I'll just say, okay, tell me when is the right time. Tell me when it's the time to do it. And actually, for Dragon Heart, um, I had designed the labels for that. I had the image for it. I had everything for that about 3 months before the essence was made because it wasn't the right time. They
Right,
were just
right.
waiting for the right time. So it's also for me about trust as well, about saying, okay, I'm working with these beings. They're on a different schedule, you know. Um, so yeah, it's and that's happened with you know another one now. I have the image. I have the I will print the labels and I'll just wait and see, you know, when the time is right, when I'm off out with my bowl and my towel and my water. So yeah.
Well, but I love how you describe the process because I you talk about it being so sacred and I can feel that and I love that you do put so much into this because I mean that's you have to have that integrity and the purity to bring it through. So, yeah.
Yeah, I feel it's something that will be reflected otherwise. You know, I mean,
Mhm.
even something like the batch flower essences that are made by the machine, the Nelson's ones are made by machine rather than by hand. They do still work, but they don't have the same frequency as the ones that are from the healing herbs or FES that bring them in. You know, they're just a little bit different, you know?
Different. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. We'll just leave it
Yeah.
at that.
Yeah.
So, so I think this is a perfect time for another quick break. And then when we come back, I would love to see if the dragons would like to play with us and lead us through an experience.
Absolutely.
Have you created vision boards, listened to meditations, and read books on how the law of attraction works, yet you're still not where you want to be? The key to manifesting is focusing your attention on your big dreams consistently, fully embodying the feeling as if it's already happening. And that's why I created the Envision Experience, a revolutionary and simple 28-day process for powerful, quantum level dream manifesting. So if this sounds interesting to you, I'd love for you to join us. You can find out more at theawakenedgoddess.com/envision-experience. Now back to the show. I'm excited to work with the dragons, so hopefully they will play with us. So if you can lead us through an experience, or I think you have an idea of something up your sleeves.
Yeah, I feel like they yeah, they're feeling like it would be kind of fun to bring through a few different dragon energies, just hopefully to give you a feeling for it. And you know, if anyone watching wants to tune in and feel that as well, you know, this frequency will be held,
Mhm.
obviously in the program, so that could be something fun to do.
Yes. Yeah, so
So
we can all play along and
right,
tune in
exactly.
and feel this.
So okay, so we will start by taking a couple of deep breaths. Okay. All right, so now we have the galactic dragons coming in. And the galactic dragons are always present for any kind of healing. And you can call on them if you are feeling that you need a little extra protection, a little extra boundary. They really hold that space. So what they're doing right now, Angela, around you specifically, and if any viewer wants to also ask, they will do the same for you. They're surrounding you with what we can just call a sphere of light. And it contains that galactic dragon frequency. And
cool.
That is, yeah, that is, to me, it always looks kind of blue silver, but other people see it in different colors. So I will not mention colors anymore, just in case people see them in different ways. But so just bringing that frequency through, coming down through the crown chakra and down along the spine, and just helping the physical body to relax. Just allowing that relaxation to come through. Because our physical bodies hold a lot of tension. You know, even when we think we're relaxing, our minds are going, and there could be tension held in certain parts of the body. So just allowing the galactic dragon frequency to help your physical body feel completely supported right now. Okay. So actually what wants to come through right now, and it's getting a little hot, is the dragon fire, is the dragon fire frequency.
I know, I
The
can
fire
see
dragons
you're
are coming in.
blushing.
Getting like red here. The fire dragons. So they're actually going to do some clearing. Okay.
Nice.
So you're held with the galactic dragons. So the fire dragon now is coming through. Especially around the throat chakra and moving into the heart chakra. And bringing that fire. It's a very liquid feeling, actually. It's a very cool feeling in a lot of ways. It's transformative, but cool. It's very soothing, which is a funny thing to say about fire, but that is the way it moves with the dragon energy. So just really clearing around the throat chakra, and the upper heart chakra and the heart chakra. And around the shoulder blades and the back. Just letting that move through and down through the spine. That's it. Just letting that actually expand out now through all your bodies. Liquid fire, clearing and dissolving anything that no longer serves you. Knowing that you are held and supported in every way right now. And as that is moving through, we have another frequency coming in, which is the earth dragons, which also bring the frequency of dragon heart, of feeling absolute love flowing through us, of knowing that we are love. We were meant to embody love. Our bodies are designed to hold that, and allowing that to move through, especially around the heart. And that heart dragon heart, earth dragon frequency is actually dissolving any barriers that we have set up around the heart, that we are ready to let go of right now. Again, knowing that we are completely held and completely supported. Just a deep breath now to let that move. That's it. And the dragon heart energy is now activating as well. All little different frequencies within us, the ways that we have shut love down, the ways that we have defined love, just allowing those to be transformed. That's it, just really letting the true frequency of love move through the physical body. Because the physical bodies have held a lot in our time on this world. All the imprints, the patterning, the genetic memories. And it's okay for them to let those go now. And that's part of why the dragons are here. So that our physical bodies can really embody our light. So the earth dragons are really supporting that now and just anchoring that frequency of love into the physical body. And now, just to get the full whack, we have the air and water dragons that want to come through. Okay, everyone's getting a show today. So these two often work together, especially to help integrate. So because our bodies, are water and we need air. So these dragons are particularly supportive of the physical body with any kind of integration or transformation. They don't always come through together, but they have today. And it feels very light. It's almost like, it's very Irish of me to say, very light drizzle on your face. It's very refreshing. It's just breathing that light in. And then just allowing the physical body to make the adjustments that it knows how to make when the patterning and the imprints are no longer there. So just another deep breath or two and just letting that really, really move through and integrate. That's it. And now we'll just ask the Galactic Dragons if there's any other gift or message that they have. And they just want you to know how much you are loved and how important your magic is. Your magic shines out of you every day, no matter what you are doing. And that affects people. It shines out in the world. And you are loved. And you are supported. And you are magic. Okay. So we'll just ask the Galactic Dragons to just dissolve the sphere now. That boundary will be there for as long as you need it for any kind of integration or transformation. So that was just a little taster. I get so hot working with them. I'm like, need some water.
Very lovely. I could definitely feel the difference between the different dragon energy. That was fun.
Yeah, they love to play with that. I mean, they know that our minds like to have certain labels, so they love to play with that. There are certain dragons that really enjoy the water energy. So those are the ones that would bring that frequency through. And we call it water energy, but it's so much more. I mean, what I'm finding more and more is that our language is so inadequate for describing our experiences. We need
Yes.
a totally different language, totally different words. So
I agree.
Yeah.
Often I find myself like I have something in my head or I feel something and I just it's a bumbly mess coming out.
That's exactly it. It's sort of like these words are not the words that I need.
Yeah.
So, but they do, for the healings, they really do bring in, they play a lot, and they are very playful. You know, they're not the they have a very, very strong sense of humor, which doesn't always, you know, so often has me at the like the butt of it. But they do. They remind us to laugh, you know, because this world, it would be very easy to go through your day and not laugh sometimes, some days, you know, some days, maybe other days you're meeting friends or you watch a Simon's Cat video and you laugh, and you know, but there are days where maybe you don't, you're tired, you're stressed out getting things done, and those are the days I find more and more don't happen for me because they simply won't allow it. I simply cannot be in that frequency and work with them. It's not their playing field, it's not where they are.
Right.
So, you know, if you want to work with dragons, be prepared to laugh a lot.
Yeah, so it sounds like anybody can call them in to work with them. Is that right? Or do you need to
Yes,
be at like a certain, like, is there anything you need to prepare ahead of time for? Or is it that we could call them in?
you can
Hey.
call them the same way you would call an angel. You can
Okay.
call the dragons. But just like you would call an angel, you know, it's with respect. It's with
Hmm.
respect that you are asking another being for help. It's not, hey, come in and do my bidding, because that's not
Yeah,
going to work
bring
out
me a
very
pot of
well for
gold.
you. Yeah, not going to work that well for you. Um, I mean, either they won't work with you, or it'll be an unpleasant experience. It's with
Hmm.
respect. They will work with you with respect, and that respect is ongoing. I mean, I have some that I'm very familiar with, but if there are times where they feel like I've overstepped, you know, I'll get a smack in the face. That will happen, and that's okay. That's
Hmm.
that's my reminder. You know, like a scruffing a kitten if something happens. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yes, they are here to support us. There's no um, magical hierarchy. Uh, you know, it. They are here. I mean, I personally have a very strong aversion to hierarchy of any kind. You know,
Hmm.
and they there's no hierarchy in the dragon world either. So yes, if you need some dragon help, ask with respect and with love, and they will be there. They will be there.
Beautiful. Oh my goodness, Aideen, thank you so much for like
Thank
introducing
you.
us to dragon energy. I want to come visit you and play with all the elementals and the dragons, and I
Really
know
don't.
with my red hair I'm gonna fit right in. So thank you. This was I haven't smiled this much in like during an interview in a long time. Like my cheeks are hurting. So thank you.
So welcome. Thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Awakened Goddess Show. I hope you enjoyed today's guest and got something you can start using in your life right away. For more spiritual insights and to listen to more episodes, subscribe to The Awakened Goddess Show at theawakenedgoddess.com and discover wisdom that'll change your life.